What's up? I'm Kerry, Courtney, and I'm here with Shelby, Natasha. Shelby just played Swamp Cow. Shelby, welcome to Swamp Cow, and thank you for playing. Give us a little introduction.
Hi, I'm Shelby Natasha, and I'm a Seattle-based songwriter and music producer.
Awesome. Which goes into one of my questions. So, you produce your own music. Take us into that world. Like, what does that look like for you?
I feel like my writing process has changed over the years, but sometimes it'll be like a production idea first, and then I'll write to it. One of my favorite ways to write on tour is I'll take a guzheng part that I'll stop somewhere beautiful and I'll write a riff, and then I'll like loop it, and then I'll just start writing lyrics in the car, and then at the next stop I have a portable setup. I've got like a little MIDI controller that is just runs off my computer, and I'll start laying down a track. It's really fun for me to create the world that the song was like conceived in. So like I'll record bird samples from wherever it was I wrote it, or maybe go back to the place that it's about and try to hear the instruments in a space, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Like hearing that, the landscapes that you create is wild. And I notice on a lot of the tracks, there is nature elements. So me as an observer of your music, I noticed that you have like a relationship between nature and music. Explain us how that like world intertwines. How important is it for nature and music to be connected for you?
I think I've always felt most comfortable and most able to like hear my feelings in nature. I think a lot of times when I'm around people, I can feel other people's energy a lot, and I think just like being in nature, I love the speed of nature. Like when you listen out in the woods, like everything, there's a place for everything, and I think that feels very musical to me. And I think a lot of times when I'm trying to ground myself, I inevitably like get inspired while I'm there. So I'm really lucky. I have a guzheng that I can take hiking with me. It's got a little backpack, and so I actually write in nature a lot, and I think that's part of the reason why you hear a lot of bird sounds. I also think that there's something so beautiful about nature sounds, and I think, I don't know, like if a song is a canvas, it feels like an important thing to include, of just like, oh, I love this so much. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love that. I have such a it's connected for me as well, and I like write a lot in nature. So I think that's one of the first things we connected on. We played a show at Connor Byrne, and I have a lot of nature videos, like out in nature, and you have a lot of nature videos. I remember like commenting, that was one of the first things. I was like, I saw a lot of your videos in nature. I just think it's so awesome. With the guzheng, can you explain what it is and your connection to it and its history in the culture?
Yeah, definitely. So the guzheng is a Chinese traditional folk instrument. They've been around for 2,000 years. It's in a lot of our traditional music, and I grew up hearing it a lot. I was a traditional folk dancer, a Chinese folk dancer for a lot of my upbringing, and it was in a lot of the music I heard. And when I studied production in college, and I remember just wanting more string elements, and I could learn guitar, or I wonder if I can find a guzheng school somewhere. And I remember just kind of like musing about that to my mom, and she's like, oh, well, actually in Seattle we have one of the guzheng schools in the country. And so I really lucked out. There's not a lot of guzheng schools in the States. There's really fantastic teachers here that teach at that school, and a catalyst for me for feeling more comfortable occupying space. I think like as an Asian American, I have been in a lot of spaces that I didn't always feel like I belonged, and I think there was a lot of like trying to make myself smaller or like blending in. But I think when you're playing a folk instrument, I'm just like, I'm Asian American and I'm proud, and I'm like, especially in a lot of spaces where in folk communities in a lot of other parts of America, it's like very white and like not a lot of anyone playing anything other than a guitar. I feel a lot more confident as a person now than I ever have, just by the act of like exposure therapy of being like, I'm gonna be different here, but I'm okay.
Thank you for sharing. I love that. I do have a deep love for Chinese culture. My sister's Chinese, and I've been through like Guangzhou, Anhui, and a few other provinces. Have you been there? And what that is, I think it's so cool that you're carrying on that through that instrument, an instrument that's one of the oldest instruments. But not only that, but it's like your culture. So I'm sure it feels cool, like having it live on through you. Maybe explain what your culture means to you, if you're comfortable.
Yeah, so I lived in China, I would say half of my upbringing.
Wow.
From when I was 10 to when I went off to school, I would live there for half a year every year, and I was living in Beijing. But my mom's family is from Sichuan, so I would go there to visit too. Was very lucky that I just always felt my Chinese heritage was very encouraged for me to like embrace, because I know that's not the same experience that a lot of Asian Americans have. Like, I know a lot of friends that don't speak Mandarin. It was my first language, which I was really lucky. I feel lucky also just in Seattle. We do have like a pretty awesome Chinese American community, and like the dance school I went to, it's all Chinese American girls, and it was just great community to be part of growing up.
Thank you for sharing that.
I can almost taste it. And honey, you're the reason for
I could tell traveling is a passion of yours because you like play all over it. You were just in Montana. You were kind of all over the country. Maybe tell us a little bit about your passion for traveling. How do you like connecting that with music?
I feel like I really have wanted to explore as much as I can. Like my whole life, that's been kind of just the little wanderer in me has been just, I just want to see what it's like. It feels like in a video game when you're unlocking different maps.
Yeah.
That's how my brain feels, and I just like, I want to see it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I started performing because I was incredibly socially anxious, and I think I fell in love with performing and loved that it was so connective, and it pushed me out of my shell. And traveling especially, I think I've mainly been a solo traveler, and I think that really pushes you out of your shell. So you make friends so easily, and you get to meet people you normally wouldn't ever meet. And I get so inspired on the road, just like visually beautiful. You meet people with stories that are not really like stories that you hear in Seattle, and you hear music that's super different. Like I just fell in love with bluegrass on this trip. I was like, this is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're super lucky to be in such a diverse city, but I think there's just always been this yearning in my bones to just like explore. And I love it.
Hell yeah, I love that. And I actually view traveling that way too, because I feel like even for me, like going out of the country is so addicting. Like the more you go to different countries, the more you realize that you haven't seen. And it does feel like you're unlocking, I don't know, because not only are you in a different place, but you're surrounded by the culture that thinks differently. So your mindset literally changes. And that's what I don't hear talked about a lot when it comes to traveling. But that's why I love going to different countries, and everybody's thinking differently than how you are, where you come from, whoever is out there traveling. So that's beautiful. Yeah, I love that.
To like realize that the way that we view things is not the whole picture. I think like I'm so afraid of my brain like calcifying and just like thinking that I'm right about anything. So I think it's really helpful to get other perspectives. And
I think it's crucial. I think I owe a lot of my growth just as a human to traveling and just seeing different cultures, seeing how people like, and that's why I think when I see like closed-minded people in this country, I'm just like, if you go to a different country, I feel like it'll unlock this thing in your brain of empathy and of just seeing different sides. But a lot of people, unfortunately, like don't want to even go there in their minds of leaving what they're comfortable with. Out of all your travels, what is one of the favorite places that you've traveled or played a show at?
there's this village in Anhui that like in I think April or May, there's all these canola flowers that bloom. So it's like a sea of yellow, and it's like a hub for visual artist students. So you just see, as far as the eye can go, it's just these rolling hills of yellow, and then you see these canvases that have painted this like popping up everywhere. And so it's just, I think it's cool to see in real time a bunch of people capturing the same thing. And it's just like a really quirky, cool town. A lot of people that live there have never left the city limits. And like the first person I met there, I asked him, I was like, okay, cool, what's your favorite thing to do in town? And he's like, I get so excited every day to go talk to my wife. Aww. And I was like, yeah, I think that changed my brain chemistry.
In Seattle, what is your favorite local business like around here that you would like to shout out?
Oh man. Ooh, if you really like really good coffee, there's this place called Finn. It's spelled Phin, and it's got, like, if you like pandan at all, great flavors. Really sweet business, really chill vibes, really good coffee, and especially if you're vegan, there's like vegan condensed milk, which is hard to come by. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Shelby. So, again, I'm here with Shelby and Natasha. We played at Swamp Cow, and I'm so honored to share the stage with you and just have you grace everybody. Is there any events you would like to shout out or promote?
Oh, thank you. I'm playing a show at the Sunset Tavern on June 19th.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, just again, really stoked to share the stage again with you. And I'm sure we will again in the future. But thank you so much and cheers.
It's no wonder we never make it to shore.